order on Monday, November 6th, 2017, stands the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning.
Good morning.
We'll start off with public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Are we up already?
No, are you with, who are you with? This is for
Desert
open.
Drive.
Oh, this is open for public comments beforehand, whatever you.
Commissioners meeting? Yeah.
So public comments open to anybody on any subject they want to talk about. You guys are actually on the agenda so we can actually take action on what it is you're bringing to us today.
Okay, so we need to make a comment now?
No, you can if you want to, but if, for Desert Drive, it'd be best to wait till, I think,
Okay.
10:45, 10:30?
I don't know.
After 10:50.
10:15. I should have just kept going.
Well, I never want to make a comment unless I have to.
Community updates.
I attended the Canyon Ferry Trust Board with the search and rescue building with plans was discussed. And that was it.
I also attended the trust board meeting, and then also Board of Crime Control, of course, continues to be an issue that we're working on. We have a meeting today on e-government. Another group is trying pretty much the same thing. So teamed with MACO, and there's a team of commissioners that'll be kind of working that from the county's perspective. Hopefully we will be successful in keeping the state from passing more unfunded mandates down to us. I want to commend the Chamber of Commerce and the Missouri Valley Marketing Groups for not only an incredible, successful Halloween with the kids trick-or-treating. A number of businesses ran out of candy, which is a good sign. But also, Ross, I keep looking to you. What you guys did with the zombie run was fabulous and fantastic. I understand there were 80 participants, which is huge on a day as dreary and cold as that was. So, nicely done, and that's all I have.
Okay, just business as usual for me, phone calls and comments, calls for people. I have a schedule here, so we'll get. There's from the Mayville Workers' Compensation Trust. Colorado County received a check for the countywide trading for $1,741.
You'll see a copy in there. I didn't want a chance having that piece of mail get lost. So I already took the check over to Mel and Doug and had them deposit it in the safety account. So that's why that's just a copy. Just safeguarding more than anything.
Different county shows it there.
And I think it's important too, we struggled to start the safety committee. But one of the reasons we did is, one, it can pay for itself, but two, it can also save us money. These kinds of rebate checks help the general fund, helps the county balance the budget, pay for other services.
There's a memo from the county on clarify telephone charges. Senior citizen. Same thing, clarify this is for the commissioners. We got the minutes here, the minutes is mailed October 30th, 2017. Is there any additions or corrections?
Move to approve as submitted.
I'll second the motion.
Move to second to accept the minutes as mailed. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll do a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Here's from Vigilante, that little paper they send out, newspaper every month or so ever. I received one of them, my own mail. Enter each year, Montana, anyone wants to donate. How you doing?
I'm all right, yes? How you doing?
Good, good.
Mike, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good.
See your boys are out grading roads the other day, huh? Get all the snow off.
Yeah, a little.
Here's information on that. Person wants a fleet card for the state of Montana.
I'm gonna pass that back to the chairman.
We got a letter from Missoula County relating to if the different counties is gonna help on the Bears chase and everything, and they said that they are not going out, but they're keeping, they will continue to hold Mr. Burris in our detention facility at no cost to your county. While this doesn't fill the entire request you made of Missoula County, we hope it finds the financial impacts born from this tragic event.
It should be noted too, for the record, that Missoula County also has provided a deputy county attorney to help with this case. And not only that, but then $69 a day to house this person over a span of 2 to 3 years will certainly be a huge help to the county.
This is from Robert Hess Associates. This is to deal with some claims they have on the airport project. There's one claim, $15,040.75. Another one for $13,329.09. The total funds are $29,233.77. So, we get a motion for approval of this so that we signed and the county will take care of it as things go along on it.
This will all, most of it be reimbursed at a 90-10 split with the FAA. I move that we sign
I'll
these
second the
claims.
motion to sign said claims.
Move to second to sign the said claims of the Robert Passion Associates for administration of airport funds. Discussion, no discussion, go to vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Let's see, we need some signatures here. regular claims they have there. Anything else to sign on this? Let's see. There's two names here. Here's the first one, if you want to.
Those don't actually need to come to an official vote in a commission meeting. They could just be printed and housed upstairs where we sign all the claims, because we've already voted to approve the project. This is just managerial work underneath that project, so this is just an extra step that we really don't need to follow. We just need to make sure we get these signed ASAP so that we get that
Yeah,
crossed
well, I
through.
checked with county, and the county said to bring it into the meeting last Wednesday.
Just the two of them.
Two, yeah.
Give them to the doubles. That one.
It would also expedite to go ahead and do it the process we follow, because we have the 7-day requirement on this. Waiting till Monday, especially if there's a holiday, can put us outside of that.
Pulled out before.
Yeah. And then these will need to be scanned to Bill so that he gets them today, because I think we're on day 7.
Okay, we're just a couple of minutes, 10:15. We'll start off with the COS reviews. We don't have a COS review. Ten-15, we'll close this regular meeting and open up for a public hearing. So now is your 10:15 time. Go ahead, are you,
Franklin, I would suggest that we also wait for Nicole to be here. I understand she's kind of taken lead on this. It might help if she's able to give kind of the introduction. These kinds of planning and community development fall under Nicole's purview. upstairs.
Yeah, we'll hold for a couple minutes here. Hi. Okay.
Morning.
Oh, I'm sorry, were you waiting on me? I think my clock is behind.
You're on deck
Awesome.
for the public hearing. I'll read a public hearing to reduce speed limit on Desert Drive to 35 to 25 miles an hour to restrict thorough truck access.
We better hope the snow doesn't get that deep.
So I will read aloud the petition here, as well as the last names of the petitioners who have signed. And then you can go ahead with your public hearing. Would that be okay?
Go ahead.
And you can get your public comments? Okay. I have extra copies here too, if anybody wants them. We, the undersigned citizens, hereby petition the Board of Commissioners of Broadwater County, Montana, for the purpose of lowering posted speed limit from 35 to 25 miles per hour on Desert Drive, and to also restrict no through truck traffic from access. Being a gravel, dirt road, a lot of dust is generated by high speeds, and prevailing winds tend to blow directly at our homes. With several residents with COPD and other respiratory ailments, this is a concern. Many carriers use Desert Drive from Indian Creek Road to Springville Lane as a route to get to US 287-12 and their places of business. It is our understanding in asking for this restriction that Indian Creek Road is specifically maintained for these heavy vehicles, and by restricting them, our road, and by default Springville Lane, will not become so potholed and washboarded as in the past and be easier to maintain. The undersigned are property owners in the proposed area, and the boundaries of the proposed area are shown on the map attached here and are set forth in the legal description attached here too. So in each of your packets you have the signature page and a map. So I'll just read through the last names only on this petition. Kit, Kelsey, Spurlock, Smith, Glanching, Higgins, Butcher, maybe, McKinstry, Larson, Nelson, Berlin, Stapp, Stover, Johnson, Kurtzen, Hendrickson, Haymaker, Truax, Townsley, Schaefer, Miller, possibly, Jensen, Smeltzer, Olson, and Cascadin. And in your packet there, I believe it shows a map of where each of these individuals live.
Yeah, I guess we're open for comments. Any people that want to make comments on this petition?
Can I go from back here?
Yeah, fine.
I'm Steve Kitt, a resident of Desert Drive. The area covers basically the Indian Creek Estates and the last 3 homes on the north end of Desert Drive, which are not part of the estate. Last year, I personally went to Mr. Rouser and took this problem to him. He came out immediately, and our applaud to him on that, and repaired the road, and it's been in an excellent shape all summer, and that, though during the summer, as the petition says, it creates a lot of dust, and there's not really too much you can do about that. And the prevailing winds bring all the dust into these homes. And started talking with some neighbors, many who have respiratory ailments, and the dust affects them significantly. So took it upon myself and went around and surveyed the neighbors. they all were in agreement with me. And so we went with the route, and I thank Nicole for the assistance there in setting me on the right track to get to this point. And I'll answer any questions that anybody has.
Anybody have any questions for him?
And we have several residents also here in attendance.
Well, they used to use mag chloride for dust inhibitor, and I don't know if they have that in the county anymore or not. That
Well,
would sure
yeah,
take care of the
I
dust
don't know if this,
problem.
had this ever been magged, Nina?
A couple years ago. So we didn't put any, you know, I mean, we re-gravelled that with that Capital Concrete gravel, and it's stuck good. I mean, it's good gravel, but we haven't applied any up there. You know, I think the stuff we applied up there, what we did is we cleaned the truck out, and a lot of times, you know, when we clean the truck out or the tank out, we'll just take it on a road that's close and dump it on. But as far as a real shot of mag, no. My problem with the mag is I don't have a problem doing it, but I don't have the money to do every road that needs to be done. So, that's my biggest problem. It's expensive. I mean, it's
Yeah.
$5,000 a mile. And, you know, Lime Plant pays for that whole shot up there. And that's the only reason that's mag, because they pay for it. We apply it, I mean, we put, I think last year after we rebuilt that, we put, well, they bought 3 truckloads. So they spent $15,000 on mag. You know, of course, we applied it, but that's what it takes. So, I mean, it cures the problem and stabilizes the road, you know, that's what we basically use it for.
So
the
then
road's
again, how
stable.
often do you have to put it down to maintain efficiency?
If you do it once a year, would be good. It's got some residual to it. Just kind of depends on the material.
Yeah.
That material there, I believe that if, I think a person could do one good shot, and you'd probably be okay for 2 years, I think. That-
And
with me dealing with,
Yeah.
deal with, so.
And myself and several neighbors have restricted ourselves down to that 25-mile limit, and we've noticed a significant reduction in the amount of dust that gets blown up.
You're
We,
right.
we have several teenagers in the area. We have residents coming up from Springville that go up to the lime plant to work, that use the road, and they seem to have heavy feet.
You got a lot of Helena folks that work at that line plant too that come across it.
Yeah, yeah. But, this was just a proposal to help reduce the dust and, make our area more livable. When Desert Drive was first built, there were maybe 3 or 4 houses up there. There were 5 houses up there when they when you all reduced the speed limit, or made the speed limit 35. Now we have in excess of 26 homes, and there's 4 that are in construction right now. So it's growing significantly up there.
Go ahead.
My name is Maury Schaefer, I live on Desert Drive. I lived there for 7 years, come this December. And in the course of that time, the traffic and the dust didn't seem to be a problem until the last 2 years, and there's more traffic. The truck, you know, reducing the truck, I don't think that's a problem. The problem is the speed. I mean, you got BSE use that road all the time. All their trucks drive 20, 25, they don't raise dust. There's some other trucks, I don't know where they come from in the summertime, that, you know, they go 40, 50, I'm 60. Sometimes the cloud of smoke, or the dust is so high It's 200 feet in the air, and if you walk out in the street, you can't even tell what kind of vehicle made the dust. You know, one of the fenders is a red and white dump truck that has no sign on the door. I don't know who he is, but he was the worst guy last summer. Somebody local, I think. They're hauling gravel from the lime plant. You get a lot of people coming from Helen and stuff in the summertime, and it's the speed. I mean, I drive it all the time. I've seen the traffic. People that drive the speed limit or below, there's hardly any dust at all. It's the speeders that cause the problem, and he's right. There's 7 years ago, there wasn't so many young people living up there. Now, they only know one speed, you know, 60, 70 miles an hour on a dirt road in the summertime, it's a cloud. And these truckers that, not all truckers, some of the truckers, you know, they're just going too fast. They're doing over 40 and it causes a big problem. So I don't know how you, you know, you solve that problem. You know, I mean, people are, you know, there's two things. The road is maintained the best you can. If there's a lot of speeding traffic, you get the you know, the ruts and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. I thought that maybe we put a radar sign, but then I found out they cost, 2 radar signs cost, you know, $5 a piece. You know, I'd rather put the dust thing in the road for 4 years than have a radar sign, because all it does is reduce the speeders by 50%. That's not a really good solution. I imagine in a high traffic area, it would make a big difference. Anyway, I just wanted to say that it's the speed, it's the increased traffic, and we need more maintenance. And I don't think restricting trucks, because you got a lot of delivery trucks, you got UPS, you got all these people coming up there all the time, they don't cause a problem. And most of the trucks, the commercial trucks that drive that road, do not cause a problem. There's just a few. And there's a reason why people use that road, because of the grade, because of a whole bunch of things. And I think that punishing everybody for a few is wrong. Anyway, I just, it's not 7 years later and the traffic has gone up, you know, 10 times.
There's another consideration, instead of using mag chloride, have you checked in the price of liquid sulfonate?
I know it's more expensive.
It is more expensive? That's sap out of the trees, you'd think that would be a real cheap.
Well, you would, but
commodity.
it's more expensive and it's a little bit harder to lay down. We had a big, well, one of our conventions here a couple of years ago, they talked about all that stuff, you know. And
Okay.
by far that the magnesium chloride or the other one, there's 2 chlorides, but the magnesium is the cheapest and actually the best that most everybody are using. And I mean, you know, almost every county that puts it down is using mag.
That used to be a real cheap commodity here not too long ago.
It was, it's gone up in price quite a bit just in the last 2 years.
Now, you bring it at 28% and cut 10?
We don't cut.
Oh, wow. If you cut that, you could cut the costs and,
Well, you can, but when you lay your first, when you first apply it to a road, you can't cut it. I mean, it just, what it does is it just dilutes it, and it doesn't take hold like it should.
what does the state use for percentage, you know, on mag chloride when they put it on the
Well,
interstates?
when they first start putting it on, I think they go there at 12%.
Okay. Cause see, I used to buy that stuff by the truckload,
Yeah,
and I got it the highest strength, and then we cut it down to 10%.
yeah. See, I'm thinking they're 12, but I know on gravel road, when you first apply it, you put it on as it comes off the truck.
The best of the two, though, for dust inhibitor is lignosulfonate. Cause
Road-
it
road
goes down
road
and
stabilizer.
packs. Hmm?
Road stabilizer.
State what, state what?
Road stabilizer, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think there's 2 issues here, and really, the speed, I agree, is and I'm Ross Johnson, and I live up there. The speed is what's causing the dust problem more than anything, but I do think the truck traffic is causing a deterioration in the road, more so than the speed. There's a number of big trucks that take that shortcut. Now, I don't know what I don't think that this petition in any way would inhibit people from delivering stuff into our neighborhood for UPS or FedEx, I don't think that's the intent, or that certainly wouldn't be my intent or anyone that was having lumber delivered to their job site or anything like that, but there is the through traffic on the truck to the big semis with the, I think that's causing more of the washboarding and the potholes. The speeders may help beat it out when they get wound up after they get started, but I really think that's more the problem. I think the speed limit to cut the dust down. I've drove on Indian Creek many times, and you get dust off of that after Magwater too. So you're never gonna get away completely from the dust. But I think if you cut the speed down, you will get away from some of the dust issues.
One other consideration, how about every quarter mile put a speed bump?
Can't do that.
Just shut them trucks down for.
Yeah,
Well, it isn't the trucks, if these little cars, they'd be airborne.
Well, there could be the start of it, put a sign up. Speed bumps ahead.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No?
No.
Okay.
Oops, I'm down.
Yeah, that's the,
Manhole.
there you go. Well, you know, and then it's the same old thing, you know, I mean, you do that, and then you got people complaining the road's rough, because you got some holes, you know, so I mean, I drove up that road last week, and right now, you know, and it was before it snowed and all that stuff, you know, and I mean, I drive up it actually quite often, I mean, I drive across there, so. The gravel we have on there is holding good. Now, it needs to be, you know, it probably needed to be bladed, but I can't blade it now, so, you know, my personal feelings on the whole situation is it is the speed, and it is, you know, if we wouldn't have put that newer gravel on there, you know, it would still get way dustier than what it does, but, you know, if a person could figure out, you know, as far as throwing some mag on it and just trying it, you know, just throw a good shot on it in the spring. We can't do it now because it's froze, but, you know, blade it up, throw a good shot on it and just see what happens. I think it'll cure your dust problems, it'll cure everything, but.
Along with the speed limit.
Yeah, and if you wanted, the speed limit doesn't bother me, and I know I've talked to the couple guys that drive up and down that with their trucks, okay? I talked to them just last week, and I talked to them 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago about it. But, you know, I know the two that are coming down there, and they really don't overdo it that bad, so.
The trucks aren't the speeding problem for the most part. I can't.
It's
It's
a
the
soccer
cars,
problem.
it's the cars that are the speeding problem. I live, and I watch them go by all the
Yeah,
time, I'm
yeah.
around there a lot. And, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a truck go through there that I would really say it was going too fast, other than, I guess, UPS and FedEx, but they're always in a hurry to get somewhere. And I don't know, and I'm not gonna limit them from traveling on that road. I just think it's, if anything from the trucks, it's the weight issue.
Well, yeah, it's the tires on the ground, you know, it's like Brandon Bakken told me, he goes, you know, he says, you put 22 tires on the ground, he says, it's gonna create some dust, and even if you're going 20, and it does, because I've noticed it, you know, on my own driving, but,
Brandon's guys are pretty good though, they've never,
yeah, and I think,
He's
I
slowed
really-
down since you've. Quite a bit.
I've never seen, all these guys that work these construction, I sit on my porch a lot, and I don't, only thing I see that's wrong up there is soccer moms, whipping you now. They need tickets bad.
Soccer one.
okay,
Well,
well,
that's what
anyway,
they act like they're going to a soccer game, you know, I mean, they're going 50 and, like you said, 40 or 50 easy.
And the other issue there,
Get a
really,
cop up there and be done with it.
the other issue is in the summer months, a lot of people walk that road.
Mhm.
In the evenings, and a lot of times when those people are getting off at the line plant, they might be from Helen, I never run a survey, but when they tear down through there, they tear down through there, cause it's I suppose it's a shortcut to get to the highway,
It's a straight, fairly level road, 1 mile in length, that, you know, is well maintained. I wasn't gonna bring up names, but since you brought up Brandon's name, he makes 15 to 20 trips on a weekend hauling to his facility with a long semi-type dump truck. And, that's a lot of wear and tear when, like, 20 tires on the ground with a full load. And, yeah, lately he has slowed down since this issue's been brought to his attention. And to his defense, I talked to him last year, and he stated, it's simply a matter of business why I use Desert Drive, because it's approximately a mile and a half shorter than going down Indian Creek to 12 and then out. But right now, if you drove Desert Drive, you drove Springville Lane, and Springville Lane, my truck had an inside plate come off because just the vibration of driving on the washboard.
See, a little bit, I talked to Brandon there last week too. He said, he mentioned to me that, about the train down there at the line plant, you know, right down there.
Oh, at Indian
Yeah,
Creek in the
you know, I mean,
river.
they're switching
Yeah.
trains out quite a bit, you know, and he says it's just, you know, coming down there and then you gotta jam your brakes on to stop, and, so I mean, that's an issue too.
Well, they go, you know, my answer to that would be to ask Brandon, put some mag water on it and we let him drive it. That's business.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Or go half price.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be all right if he was the only one using it.
Yeah.
Any more comments from anyone? If not, we'll close the public hearing, we'll open up a regular meeting. Does anybody here on the board have questions or comments to the individuals out here?
What is the percentage, Nicole? It looks like 26 signatures, and Mr. Swandel mentioned there were 26 homes. Or is this 100%?
One person living out there did not sign.
And they're a renter?
Correct.
Okay, wow. Nicely done, you guys. I don't think I've seen a petition with almost 100% before. As far as the trucks, I think legally we can't restrict use on a county road. I would be in support of perhaps a letter, just a friendly letter, nothing hard hitting that just says, you know, here's a copy of the petition. These are the homeowner's requests that you travel the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. And maybe we can pursue some of this mag chloride next year. You and I have talked about this before. I think there's some opportunities there for us to maybe look at some mag for that road. But I certainly don't see an issue with the speed limit request. It's just my views. Any thoughts, guys?
Mike, you got any?
I think that I would agree with the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, but I do not agree with the truck access, restricting the truck access.
You can't, it's a county road, I mean, you can't tell people where they can drive.
Right.
You can't use the main street of town, why don't you just say that, you know, I mean, everybody's restricted, I mean, shit, it doesn't make sense. I have no problem with those guys up there at all, they're always driving 15 to 20, you don't wanna be behind them, because you'll never get where you wanna go. But there's a lot of these young gals up there and guys that, they're whiskey soaked half the time, and they fly down that road. And I need some badges up there and clean it up. Radar gun and take care of it, and probably pay for the whole thing, and be bust a few of them.
This gives the teeth too to those guys to actually do some ticketing. They can't do anything if.
Well, I don't think it's
they're not-
legally, and the speed limit signs aren't legal anyway, because they're probably not spaced correctly.
Oh, they're fine.
Are they?
Yeah, the only thing I see is the size
Lean in.
probably now. Cause they gotta be a specific size, you know, and I think those are probably a little small, cause they've been up for quite a while.
One's kind of leaning.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the color and all that stuff, I mean, you put one on one and one on the other end,
good enough.
Well, you're right though. Cause when you come out of those other roads,
Yeah, you don't see nothing.
nobody knows what the speed limit is.
But they live there, they know.
I know they know that, but all they gotta say is they didn't see a sign.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then we'd want names on all those roads that aren't named yet. No,
And of course,
I think for the most part, the citizens of Indian Creek Estates and at my end would be happy with this, the speed limit. The restriction was put in there because at the time, the trucks were the problem, and there are still a couple that like the heavy foot when they're hauling their gravel. But for the most part, if we can get the speed limit, we'd probably be happy. And don't wanna restrict commerce, but they gotta slow down.
you ever been around a bunch of silage trucks?
No, but I was behind
Try that.
a cattle car this morning.
Well, silage trucks are about 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't know how they slow down enough to make a right-hand turn.
I don't either. Not unless Bob Hangus is sitting out in front of him in his vehicle, I guess that's the only way.
So this petition, is it just Desert Drive, or is it the portion of Springville Lane going to the highway?
Just Desert Drive.
Just
is my
Desert Drive?
understanding.
Okay. I would move that we go ahead and answer the petition affirmatively and reduce the speed limit on Desert Drive from 35 to 25 miles per hour.
I'll second the
It's been moved and seconded on this petition to lower the speed limit to 25 miles an hour. Any more comments? No more discussion, we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
motion. Aye.
Motion passed. So I guess if the trucks do cause a problem, you can come back and we'll do something else.
Well, I think the
At
speed
this
limit-
point, I hate to see the trucks restricted.
Well, I think the speed limit will help the trucks, and then along with that, if they're, you know, the sheriff's department makes a trip through there once in a while and accidentally picks up someone when they are doing it, that'll probably, the word will get out.
Mhm. You're right.
And just Dana's comments to the main people, you know, slowed them down, or slowed one of them down. So now he'll go back, he'll call them and say, okay, the citizens won, but you're still allowed to use the road, but you're gonna have a speed limit that, to protect our area.
Steve might have to get some money though.
No.
His granddaughter's one of them.
Oh, thanks.
There we go.
I'd be happy to draft a letter for the commission to sign, and I can
Okay.
make it available to each of our known local delivery truck drivers, if you'd like, and just a copy of the
Dana
petition.
gets a chance, he can check on the, sign it, and if there's not a sign at the other end, maybe you should.
Yeah, I'll get some signs up on each end, and then, I'll space some out, you know, a couple in between, so people can see them.
Another question, is that considered open range through there for cattle?
All Montana is,
Yeah.
we're a fenced out state.
You want cattle to go down through there, put a cattle guard in?
There are cattle guards.
Oh, are there? Okay.
Yeah,
Put it
there ain't
out
no
in the
gates
middle of
closed.
But they've been circumvented on one end.
Well, then they get so rough, like they hit them cattle guards. They cavity out in front of them and go along, it's, you go through the gate instead of the cattle guard.
Yeah, just some pulling cattle out.
Okay, well, thank you for you folks for
Thank you.
getting this taken care of. Hopefully it take care, I think it will be. And, like I say, I'll be rising with the trucks. I just know we'll either put law enforcement there or do something at that time.
I'll take a badge and a radar gun, I'll make you money. I will.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you now.
Ross, just hang me out the granddaughter, huh?
Oh, there,
Light her up. And I'll just switch it to one of the other ones, get a little bit of snow this week, so.
Thanks for your offer on the letter, Nicole.
Thank you.
Running a little behind here. Jessica, of course, fair manager quarter update. Be there or up here, wherever you want. You don't have any papers to have, you're fine right there.
I have nothing officially to hand out. This isn't gonna take too long. Fair's over, obviously. We're in sort of our slower season. Couple things going on. I leave tomorrow for Colorado Springs for the annual Rocky Mountain Association Fairs Convention. I will be gone until Saturday. It's the regional convention for all fair personnel working in the Rocky Mountain region. It's a good time of education, networking with other people. We are in the process of working towards funding for the Mel Patrick gazebo that will be placed over the cement slab out there. It will be a permanent structure. I'm working very closely with several people on grant funding and local funding and things like that. We're putting together a presentation to be able to present to multiple entities. To get that built, we'd like to have it built in the spring before fair of next year. And yeah, I think fair went well this year. I heard a lot of good things. There's always little things that we can change, but I heard a lot of good stuff, so that's basically it. Unless you have questions for me.
Any questions for Jessica?
Did you and Michelle get the credit card thing?
It was not us.
Okay.
It turned out not to be, it did turn out in the end not to be a fair board charge. I got her the information that I had, and then I kind of let her take it from there.
Okay.
Since it was not under our account that charge was coming up, and I'm not sure how the coincidence of it happening right after we did the Facebook stuff happened, but it is not an account that we set up.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm not sure if the issue is resolved entirely, but I do know that I spoke with Google and the company, and the account number on the statement is different than our account number, than the Fair Board's account number, and there is no payment information of any kind on our account.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I offered, if she needed to, I've got phone numbers and stuff, and so I sent her, I just forwarded her everything that I had from them.
Okay. Thank you.
That's where it stands now.
Thanks, Jess.
Any more questions for Jess? If not, thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a
Thanks,
good
guys.
trip.
You're doing a great job. Thank you. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Running behind a little bit. Allison, National Extension Agency.
Okay, just have a couple loose ends to tie up with you. I sent some information last week, I don't know if you had some time to look at it. The first is, maybe we'll do the intern. Just wanna finish up that conversation we had, was it last month? On where those funds were coming from. 'Cause just to be clear again, the $4,800 for an intern, I just don't have that in my budget. I feel like I have enough in my budget that I can help with like the operating cost of having the intern in the office, like just programming, cost, office supplies, those sorts of things, but the actual salary I don't. So I guess I just wanna open that up again, to make sure we still wanna do that, and if so, where those funds would come from. Just give you a little, update, after the last meeting we had on this subject where it was decided to do it, I did notify MSU because they had to know like that day or the next day, and so they did do a search for, well, they do all the interns together, and there's openings in the state, including Broadwater County. That application period is closed, and interviews are the 14th of November. So that's kind of where that's at. I guess if there's not the funding, I guess it's probably not too late to pull out, but we are a part of that process as it stands right now.
When we first talked about this, one of the things that was the genesis was the opportunity for this intern to look for grants that could support your programs, what you've built for extension, what your mission is. So with that in mind, it seems to me that the $4,800 is an investment in the ag heritage of our county. So this was a decision made, gosh, March, April, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, we
Maybe
talked
not
about it in the
that, yeah.
spring. Yeah.
So it's a, in my opinion, a decision already made. We've committed PILT to solidifying your budget as well as some others, so this fits right in my opinion. You guys have any thoughts?
I agree with that too.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I would move then to support the intern for extension and to fund it as agreed previously from PILT in the sum of $4,800.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign this for the intern, for the amount of, as stated. Any more discussion? No more discussion, we'll go to a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. The next thing that we also started, I just want to finish, now that you've hopefully had a chance to all look at the facility
already
use.
have one,
Oh, you
so-
have one? Didn't you have one, right? Thank you.
Would you like a copy? I have, Jack, we have
I
extras.
have extras. I guess at this point, looking for approval of this application, what I guess would be the first step.
I have some questions for you on this. I think this is good. I think this is really good. The only thing I was thinking is, I think we need to have absolute clarity for the people who use that room. So I was thinking maybe a checklist that is specific. So
Okay.
whenever you or Tammy goes in to check the room, what do you check? I would think the bathroom, the carpet, you know, whatever you go through and check, if there could be a checklist so that if the event comes up that somebody is not given their deposit back, you can show them the checklist and they know exactly why. And then the other thing I was thinking is, they could sign either this form with the checklist attached, or even return it via email with an email that says we agree to the conditions. And then that way you don't create an issue where somebody has to come in and talk to you. They could be done over email. Not that they don't want to talk to you or you to them, but just to save everybody time, an email could be an opportunity for signing too.
Okay, and I don't know about the legality on that for something like this. I know in 4-H, there's certain things we cannot have an electronic signature for, that we have to have the hard copy. So I don't know if that's
Okay.
something we should ask. And maybe for this it doesn't matter, because there are some things that we can have electronic signatures, but thinking some of the ones that we have to have a hard copy are like some of the medical releases and whatnot. So maybe this doesn't fall in that category, but I don't know if we should check.
Yeah, we definitely should check just to be sure.
I'm okay with it. I think it makes it easy, but and with the deposit, I mean, they really have to come see us anyway. So
Good point.
I don't know.
Good point, yeah. And then one other thought that I had was the fee. I'm gonna suggest, and I'm open to debate on this, but I'm gonna suggest $25 because the school was at 35, and I know for the, if you rent facilities, it's gone up to 80. So 25 is still reasonable. We won't charge it for the hospital because it's their building, which includes the ambulance. And I agree with you, not charging the county boards. So then if somebody wants to come in for a private function like a birthday party, $25 is almost nothing. But it does seem that those are the ones that happen on the weekends when the heat is going and costing, I think,
Well,
more.
No, not, well, the ones on the weekends have a very cold room because we don't have an ability to turn up the heat on the weekends, so
Oh, okay.
they get a frigid room and are told to bring in space heaters.
Which is an electrical cost.
Yeah, and I don't think very many do. The Garden Club might, because they meet there every month. But usually when people complain, that's what the only solution we have for them.
I didn't realize that, okay.
Yeah, the thermostat is automatically set to go back to its time at 9 o'clock at night. And so
Okay.
we can adjust it for evening meetings, but the only way it happens for weekend meetings is if Tanya or I come in on a Saturday to turn it up for them, which we don't do. I think I've done that maybe once for something. And I did it for the stroll last year, maybe.
Okay, all right. Good, thank you. I have been educated. I have heard, and you should know this, that sometimes the heat gets turned way up for weekend events and that building is heated at a very high temperature all weekend long.
It wouldn't be.
Okay,
Yeah, I've only done that once, came in on a Saturday, and I'm pretty sure that was stroll like 2 years ago. And, but otherwise it automatically is set, Mike has it set to go back to its original setting at 9 o'clock at night. So we either have to come in at 9 o'clock or on Saturday morning. So, sometimes in the evenings it is turned up, yes, but not on the weekends.
and in the evenings it'll go back down at 9 o'clock.
Correct.
So it's just for a couple hours.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to know,
Yeah,
thank you.
usually Tammy will turn it up like before she leaves about 5, and then, yeah, at 9 it goes back.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Yeah.
Then I'm not as solid on the 25. I think your 15 is fine for that. I would say that if you do, maybe a clause that if you do come in and turn up the heat, like for the stroll or something, that there be an additional charge just to cover that additional heat.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could work on that if that's something the board thinks is important to include.
Who uses that for the stroll?
Well, it's kind of in a gray area. It's usually the hospital that does the reservation. Actually, we had a problem a couple years ago where they didn't tell us they were even going to be in there, so we got there on Monday after the stroll, and it was a mess, of course. And so we did eventually track down to the hospital, and so they've now kind of had a standing spot on there. So that's kind of the source, but it tends to be a variety of people in there. So we've had some issues with it not being cleaned.
Any thoughts on how to work on that with like the hospital and the county? If there's a county meeting too, we could be collectively guilty of not cleaning up after
Mhm.
ourselves. So,
And I'll be honest, the hospital's probably one of our worst offenders.
okay,
Yeah, we've had some issues where we've had to call them multiple times to come over and get stuff they've left in there, clean up or put things away, and yeah.
are they good at that,
So,
coming back?
Sometimes after multiple phone calls. One time they left food in there and we eventually just threw it away. But again, we shouldn't have to do that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So yeah, they often cater their own meetings, which makes sense, but then yeah, they won't come pick up their leftover food and drinks and stuff.
And it's hard to impose a deposit when it's their building,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know, I think that goes back to the conversation we continue to have about the long-term plan for that building. I know you don't really have a lease in place now, but I mean, in my opinion, if the county becomes part of the long-term lease for that building,